Hey guys, today let's talk about components and let's build a few. In Unreal 5, a component is a modular building block that you can attach to actors to give them reusable pieces of functionality. Think of them as plug and play features. Instead of stuffing all of your code and logic into one giant actor class, components let you break out functionality like health, stamina, movement, or audio into self contained, reusable modules. This approach is incredibly powerful because it makes your code more organized, flexible, and scalable. You can mix and match components on different actors, quickly iterate on new features, and avoid the mess and headache of giant, hard to maintain classes. Components are the backbone of modern UE5 development. They let you keep things clean, make your projects easier to maintain, and empower your game to grow as big as your imagination. So in our sample project, I created a folder called components, and we're going to create two components, two C++ components, one a health component, and the other will be a stamina component. And these type of components are often seen in most games. Learn how to spell here. CPP. All right. So we have our class. So set up our files here. Copy in our standard stuff here at the top. Okay. And we want a U class. CPP anims underscore API. Great. AI knows what we want to do. Okay. So we have our constructor. And let's add a few properties. We want to edit anywhere. Blueprint, read and write. We got our categories health. That's great. Float. So this will be our health value. And we're going to make a max health. And let's few functions. Oops. U function. Blueprint callable. Our categories health. Great. Void. So we're going to say set health. This is our function for setting a health. Set max health. So you can set the two values through a function. And we're going to want some delegates. All right, so declare dynamic. We don't want one property. We just want this one on death. Delegate. Okay. And we want another one. But this one we want with three parameters. Three params. And this is health change. So anytime the health changes, we're going to notify any listener of the new health value. Okay. And so here in the public, we want to, no, these are going to be properties. And we want this to be blueprint assignable. Category health. And we'll let AI do the rest for us. Okay. And we have our begin play. So we're going to create a private function, void handle that knows what we want. Okay. So that is our H file. Let's start to implement these. So of course we want our include at the top. Youth health components, our constructor. We're turning off the tick. We're going to set our health to 100, max 100 by default. When the class is constructed, our begin play. What we want to do in the begin play is it knows what we want to do. It's putting in our comment here, so that's great. Health, math. So what we're doing is we're clamping our health to the max health to ensure that our health is not exceeding the max health. And we want to do a set health. It's not everything. It's probably a little bit more than we need. What we want to do is we want to clamp the new health to the max health to make sure we're not going over. And then we want to broadcast. AI almost got it right for us. Kind of what we want. So what we're doing here is we're clamping the new health value that's coming in to the max health and then setting our health value to this new health, making sure we're not going over the max health. And we're broadcasting to any listener what the new health is. And then we're checking to see if the health is less than or equal to 0. Then we're going to call our handle death function that we'll create shortly. Now we want our set max health. Let's see. We're clamping the max health to 0 just to make sure it doesn't go below 0. And then we're clamping our new health, or we're clamping our existing health to the max health. That ensures that we are not we're not cheating here and setting the max health lower than what the current health is. It keeps those in sync. But really what we want to do that, but we want to do that a little differently. Let's see, max health. So we would clamp the max health. And then if health is greater than max health, that's when we want to set the health to max health. So we basically are clamping it. And then we want to call health change because technically we just changed the health. Now let's check to see, actually we want to do that in here since it changed. We want to say is dead, and then we'll handle the health. Okay, so in this set max health, we are clamping our max health. We're making sure that we're clamping it to 0, or that it's not going below 0. Then if the current health is greater than what the new max health is, what we want to do is change our health to the new max health. So, for example, if now the new max health, your player no longer has a buff, and so the max health now drops from 150 to 100, and your player had 135 health, we're changing that health to the max at this point to make sure that you're not over. And then we broadcast that health change because technically the health just changed. So we want to broadcast that again. And then we also want to check for death. There we go. checker is dead, so returns true if the player is less than or equal, the health is less than or equal to 0, false if not. And we want to handle death, which is basically just broadcasting death for our sample here, but you could run other code upon death, any code that you like, animation or something to that effect. All right, so that should be everything we need for a health component. Let's build to ensure we're error free. Hopefully we are. Looks like we're not. H7. We don't have any parameters here. This actually should be 1 param, not 3. Okay. 34. We have some typos here. It's causing quite a bit of errors. We actually could do this in the H file, and we obviously did not declare it, so that's bad on our part. Is that there we go. So if you didn't know, in your H file you can do the simple simple functions here, and you don't have to implement them in your CPP. Okay, looks like we're good with that. Now let's start on our stamina component. Copy in our begins. Okay, U class. That's exactly what we wanted. AI does some things correctly, and sometimes it does not. Okay, so we have our constructor, and we want several properties on this one. Yep, stamina. Max stamina, just like we do health and max health. And for these, we also want to add a replenish rate. And then we want a depletion rate. And depletion rates can be different based on your actions. So for our example, we're going to do a walking stamina depletion rate. You can call it cost, whatever you want to call it. But this is the rate that we are going to decrease as the player is in walking state or walking movement. You obviously want to probably have a different one when you are doing sprinting, or maybe a different one for jogging, just based on your game and the movements of your game. Your attacks could also incur a depletion rate or cost. Let's see. So now we want to do we want to do functions now. Let's do functions. You function, recallable, yep, stamina. So it knows what we want. Set stamina, set max stamina. Great. And then we want set void set walking depletion rate. And let's just say depletion rate. Wait, I have the long word. And then we want a function for replenish stamina. And that's going to go off of delta time, so we can call it on the tick in our character. So when a character is in, say, idle gate or idle or standstill, whatever you name your standstill gate, then you'll want to replenish stamina unless stamina is already at the max. Then we need one for consume walking stamina. That's going to be delta time as well, so that we can do that on the tick. And then we're going to want a few declares. Let's see. So we want declare dynamic delegate on stamina depleted, but let's just call it empty. Stamina empty. So when this fires or notifies, you may want your character to not be able to move or not be able to fight, throw certain punches or something to that effect. And then our stamina change, just like we got our on health change. So we need to create some U properties for these. Oops. Looks like it wanted to do the work for us. So we'll let that happen. Okay, and it gave us our begin play. And that's pretty much all we need for the stamina component. So let's start implementing. We can right click. Nope, that's the wrong. Create declaration. That is not what I wanted. I don't know where that came from. That was weird. Okay. Doesn't want to do it, so we can do it manually. Include. And there we go. So let's see, we're going to turn the tick off. Make sure it's off. We're going to set our stamina. 100 is fine. The replenish rate, we can put that at 1. And we put our walking, let's say like 1.5. And we're going to do our void, use stem. There we go, our begin play. And we'll clamp the stamina to the max stamina, same as we did with health. Let's do our set. Let's see what it gave us. So we are clamping, and then we're calling on broadcast. So, okay, it did mostly what we wanted, but let's change it a little bit. So we want to use the F math class again, and we want to use is nearly 0 and put the stamina in there. And so if we do is nearly 0, it kind of gives us that that coverage. Maybe it's at 0.9 or 1, somewhere in that range. It's nearly 0, so we'll say that we'll broadcast on stamina empty. So we're letting the listeners know that stamina is empty at that point. So let's do the set max, and we're going to clamp the max, the new max stamina, And then we'll do the same like we did with the health. If the stamina changes, we will determine, we will call on stamina change. And we want to check if it's nearly zero, because the new max stamina maybe was set to 0.5, and that's going to be nearly zero. So we will call the on stamina empty function there. And then we're going to want to do our stamina set walking depletion rate. Nope, we don't want to do that. Yes, we do. We do, because we haven't done that yet. So set walking depletion rate. Great. Oh, I don't want to do that one yet. We're going to do something similar here. And we want to set stamina replenish rate. And that's going to be new. Replenish rate. Yep, that's what we want. And it clamps it. Great. So you can say 0.0 or you can say 0.f. Both work. Depends on which one you want to do. And let's do our void. Let's do our consumption. See what AI gave us. So it's not really what we want. So stamina will equal, we're going to fmap, we're going to clamp that, and we're going to say stamina minus, so we want to do the walking times delta time. So the stamina minus the value of walking stamina depletion rate multiplied by delta time. Clamp it to 0 or clamp it to max. So it has to be in between this range. When we're consuming, and we're going to do our, just copy it. If nearly 0, if the stamina now is nearly 0, then we broadcast stamina is empty. And replenish, we're kind of wanting to do the same thing. Stamina equals, and this time we're doing a plus. Yep, that's what I wanted. Times delta time. And we're clamping it in between 0 and max. So we're adding, when we are replenishing, we're adding. And we still want to check if we're nearly 0, so that we can keep telling the listeners we're still empty. We're replenishing, but we're at this point still considered empty. And that is it for that part. So let's build, ensure that we don't have any bugs or any typos, compilation errors. And we have a couple. Okay. So CPT. I must have spelled that differently here. I'm looking for set stamina replenish rate. That's a property function. We got a depletion here. Set stamina depletion. No, that's walking. Did I not define this? I don't think I defined this. as a function. All right. So we forgot to define this, and that was causing the errors. Okay. So we have our components. Our C++ components are finished. Now we want to open up our base class. So in the third person sample that Unreal will create for you, it comes with a character class, and your blueprint, your player character blueprint, is based on this class. So what we want to do is we want to add in our H file and our stamina classes. So we can just throw them here. Okay, so we do our includes, and we want to add the components down where we have the other components. So U property visible anywhere. Yes, that is exactly what we want. We should do our stamina. Okay, so it's our health component and our stamina component, and we're placing them directly on the class, and we want to set them up here in the constructor. So it's our health, it's called health component, stamina component. So we're creating default sub object of our U health component and our U stamina class, and then we're giving it a name, and you'll see that name in the blueprint. And that is all that we need to do for it to show up on our third-party player character blueprint. We will build. And then we will run the project. And once it's, I'll be back when it starts. Okay, so we've started our project, and we'll go into the blueprint third person character. As you see, our components are here. They're directly attached in the C++ class. So from there, we can call some of our methods. So on the number one key, let's grab our component. Let's say the health component. And we can do set health. And the new health is going to be, we'll say 80. And let's say on 2, we can do the same for stamina. And we'll say the stamina is 75. Great. And to show it, let's go on our tick. We're going to print string duration 2. Let's give it color black so we can see it better. And what we want to do is on the tick. Actually, let's give it a key. This one's going to be health. The other will be stamina. That way it's just not printing across the screen every few seconds, or actually every tick. Stamina. And what we want to grab is the get health. A conversion for us. We can get rid of these. Actually, let's bring back the begin play, and let's add the parent node to it. Ensure that we're calling function, and that's all we need for this one. And we want to do we want to get the stamina. Text in there. Okay. So let's go to draw a line for each. So now if we play the game, save this. So as you can see, it's printing both here at the top, our stamina and our health and our stamina. If I press 1, as you see, it went down. Press 2, and the stamina goes down. And that's it, guys. That's how you create components, reusable blocks of code that you can attach to different actors. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.